Hi, welcome back to the Anthony Wincoop Show. Today we have Terrence and Matt the Dub, comedians in Austin, Texas. I actually met these gentlemen through their comedy promotion and teaching platform, Follow Through Comedy. So you guys are both professors and comedians.
Professor, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I
Nah.
wouldn't go that far. But,
Why not? You guys
we
are teaching
comedians.
people how to be funny and perform on stage all the time.
I mean, I wouldn't even say we teach people how to be funny either.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would rather say that we kind of guide people towards what they think is funny and kind of let them run and play with it.
Yeah. We kind of just give them a platform to have fun, get into some comedy, and just explore the world that is comedy. We don't write jokes for you. We don't teach you how to write jokes. We just have you do exercises to spark something in your brain and see what comes out. And we've been fortunate enough where people just have fun in our courses, and that's all we could ask for. We just want people to have a good time. Yeah, I wouldn't definitely not professors or anything, but maybe one day. It's crazy. Being into hip hop too and stuff. Lupe Fiasco came out with all of his hits. Now he is a professor at a college, teaching hip hop. Jizza, the genius from Wu-Tang Clan, he didn't. I don't think he graduated high school, and now he's a professor at a college also teaching rap. So it just shows you that no matter what you do, if you're dedicated and you study the game, and you just don't give up, you don't have to follow the set rules that society has laid upon you, and you could still achieve what society's trying to tell you the pathway to achieve is. You could just take your own route there and still get there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So you guys are students of the game, which I really appreciate. And you guys are really good at transposing that knowledge to people that might have never been on stage before. And I've watched this happen in real time. So you guys are giving people the tools to maybe discover what they find is funny. But can you teach someone to be funny?
I had a comedian, because I would promote the workshops through DMs just to see who wanted to be a part of it, and I had one comedian just go in on me about you can't teach someone to be Richard Pryor, and so I just joked around with him the entire time. He kept coming at me really serious, and I just kept texting him back jokes, but he kept coming at, you can't teach someone to be Richard Pryor, and I was like, you have no idea what we're doing. In improv, being an improv teacher is the highest rank. It's just as good as being famous. It means that you're pushing the game forward, and it's just you're trying to push the game forward, and that's how I see the workshops. Is it's not about teaching someone to be funny. It's about seeing people who are interested in comedy and showing them techniques that can hopefully push the game forward that haven't been created before. So that's why when I'm in the books, I'm trying to create new improv games. We have games called Costanza, Weekend at Bernie's, Billy Madison, and it's all games catered to comedians. Terrence leads the stand-up program, and I'm his TA, and I lead the improv program, and we literally call it Improv for Stand-Ups, because I personally found firsthand when I took improv classes that improv really helps you in the stand-up world. All these techniques the difference between improv and stand-up is that stand-up you're inventing comedy, and improv you're seeking comedy. If you invented comedy in an improv scene, the scene wouldn't work. You would get the quick laugh, and the scene would be bogus. But in stand-up, all you want to do is joke, 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 joke. But in improv, it's all about the scene. It's comedic acting. They say that the difference between improv and stand-up is that improv is funny and stand-up is comedy. And that's why so many people can take improv classes, and that validates them as comics, because they're learning techniques on how to find funny. They're not teaching you how to be funny. They're teaching you techniques on how to find funny. And it's all about finding the funny, exploring the funny, and seeking the scene. And I also found with improv I heard a lot about comedians, stand-ups taking improv classes only level 1, and deciding, okay, I took a class, this might help me in stand up, I'm done with it now. It's because they will destroy you in an improv class because every instinct that you have as a stand up comedian, they tell you not to do an improv. But it's also about recognizing, hey, I got to play the improv game to learn this art form, and knowing that when they say, hey, don't do that, it's going to get a quick joke, clocking that in your head as, hey, that'll work for stand up. It's not like a, hey, oh man, I can't do this in improv class. It's more of a, hey, I know that'll work in stand up. That's great. It's all
What's
about
an
learning these
example
techniques.
of something that you would do in stand-up that might fail miserably in improv?
So, way back in the day when the godfather of improvisation, Del Close, was taking, or not taking, he was performing, I don't know if it was the Compass or Second City, but he was performing with Joan Rivers. And Joan Rivers was like, she was a good improviser, but she was known to block scenes all the time. So Del Close went on stage with the initiation of I'm trying to remember the exact scene, but something along the lines of they were a married couple, and he goes, she wants to get a divorce, and he goes, "What about our kids?" And Joan Rivers goes, "We don't have kids," and he gets a big laugh, but the scene was fucking wrecked, and Del Close was pissed. And that's the kind of blocking. It'll get the quick laugh on stage, but it's at the expense of the scene. In improv, it's all about scene work. In stand-up, it's all about the laugh. Improvisation started as acting theater. Improv was just a bunch of games to practice acting. And the woman who brought it to America, Viola Spolin, her son Paul Sills had so much fun playing these games. Said, "I want to open a theater where we just play these games. Every time we play these games, we have such a good time. We always get laughs. I want to put this in a theater format." What's it called? So the root of improvisation is acting. That's why we're not going for the quick laugh. We're trying to do comedic acting. It started as just straight theater acting. Then it got into, through the improvisation games, became comedic acting. Because these improv games are so much fun that I think that's where the audience laughs, because they see you having fun on stage. You have to be, it's the same thing with stand-up too. You have to be having fun on stage. Otherwise the audience, isn't going to feel you.
Do you think improv is something that would help all comedians build richer sets and scenes instead of just chasing that quick punch?
I think that genuinely depends on the comedian. Certain comics are able to pick up improv very easily, and they can add that into their stand-up, and some stand-ups are a bit more rigid, and they have to have that structure, and that's why they do stand-up. So you see that between the two, a lot of improvisers are afraid of stand-up, and a lot of stand-ups are afraid of improv, just because those are two very different sides of the brain that you're dealing with. Different sides of the ego too. I mean, like stand-up, you've got to be the guy. Like you have to be the guy when it's your mic, it's your room. With improv, you've got to share the stage. You have to work with others and actually build something together. So it just really depends on who you are as a comic. Not every stand-up has to do improv, and not every improviser needs to do stand-up, but it is like they're tools. They're like stretches. They're like workouts that you can do.
You might
to
want
get
that in the
better.
bag.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
How'd you guys meet?
We're working at a Cold Town Theater.
Yeah.
I was the intern. He was the house manager, and he was teaching. He was the TA at Cold Town in their Cold Town Theater in their stand-up program. When they got bought out by UCB, the stand-up program got cut, and the entire time me and Terrence behind the desk, we're just joking around all the time, talking comedy constantly, and Terrence was like the only one who actually saw me. So at Cold Town, they weren't really booking me to do improv or anything. The only time I was getting on stage at Cold Town was when I was doing stand-up. So Terrence was always watching me do stand-up, and he was the only one who ever saw me do comedy. Everybody else was like, "Oh, Matt the intern," but Terrence was like, "No, I see you, Matt." So he told me when he gets his own class, which he was about to, that when he gets his own class, I would be his TA. Then they cut the stand-up program, and UCB bought him out, and we started doing a show at a clothing store, Feel So Good. I love Feel So Good.
Rest in peace.
Fond memories.
Soon to return, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Really?
But we'll see. But what's it called? We started doing a show there, and the show was going, it was going. So they said, I asked for a second day. We started doing shows Wednesdays and Thursdays, And then they said, do as much comedy here as you want. They were getting a lot of comedians just walking in saying, "Hey, this is a place that does stand-up shows," and they would look around. That's all they wanted. They wanted people in the shop. So we started doing workshops. It started with a Friday workshop. And I said to Terrence, "Hey, man, let's do it, man. We always talked about you have the curriculum. You said I'd be your TA. Mondays. So just Mondays, we got a group of comedians. Some people rolled over from Cold Town who were very interested in taking a class with Terrence. And then some people just saw the commercials we made. Yeah. And we had some people roll in. You ended up coming to our class. We were standing outside Creek. I was talking to the door guy. He was like, "What do you got going on tonight?" And I told him, "Oh, we're doing a workshop." And you were just like, "Oh, you're doing a workshop? Where?" And you just walked right in. And that's why we're here right now, because we were talking outside the clothing store.
Yeah, I felt very, very comfortable. When somebody moves to a town for comedy, it's hard to find a community. And
Yeah.
I think maybe for me, the most natural place is to go to where people are actively working on it. Maybe not seeking some kind of immediate gratification, but where people are kind of putting their head down. And you guys were obviously giving people an environment to really learn what they were doing on stage.
So I think I speak for Terrence too when I say one thing we really loved about Cold Town was the community that they built. It was a very community-driven theater. Above all else, above even the comedy, it was a community of people who bonded together over different cultures, different backgrounds, coming together and just finding a love for comedy. And so anything we did after that, um, just having a community already behind us, I think it just dribbled over into whoever new was coming in is now part of that same community.
What year did you guys meet? Well, when did this start?
This was 20. We met what 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago, but yeah, we met about 2 years ago.
Where are you guys from?
Originally, that's a tricky question with me. I've moved a bunch.
Okay.
But I moved down here from Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
New York.
New York.
New York.
So why'd you guys pick Austin?
I'd been down here for a few years before I started doing comedy, so it wasn't comedy related. I came to like kick it with my best friend for a bit, and kicking it turned into just fucking staying.
So
hanging
you
out.
discovered comedy and got into it while living here.
Yeah. I got into comedy in I think like the middle of 2021.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like right as things were opening back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you decide that it was going to be, what you did?
I had thought about it for a while. Like I've always been a big comedy fan. And then you finally go to an open mic and you're like, man, give me the mic, give me the mic. I can do this. I can do that. And so you go up and you try and you can't.
Yeah.
But you keep going until you can, and it's.
So it was a little bit of the competitive nature that drove you, but then you ended up really building a community.
A bit of it's like a bit of it was like competitive, like especially when I first started. Because this is when the Austin scene was like first really getting like bumping, and like if you weren't pushing people out of the way to get to the list, you were gonna end up 37th on that bitch, and you're gonna have to sit through 36 other comics. And you really gotta love comedy to sit through 36 other comics just to get up there and do your little 3 minutes and bomb,
Yeah.
And then try again the next day. Like you really gotta that was. We had fewer mics back then. I think we're really blessed as a scene right now with the sheer amount of spaces that we have to do comedy, for sure.
How would you describe it to maybe people back home, like in New York or something like that?
I would say that we have a layered scene. We have a very layered scene. Like if you're you can find the type of comedy you're looking for in Austin if you keep looking. We just have that many comics. I mean, we do have a reputation outside of Austin for being edgelords. Not all of us are that. We do have a very layered scene. Like there's a bunch of different styles. Like we've got a bunch of different alti comics, and like people are willing to try different things. And we've got people that like they're storytelling comics. We just had like so many different styles in Austin just by the sheer amount of people that we have here doing it.
Doesn't matter what scene you're in. If you appreciate comedy, love comedy, and work at comedy, you can go to any scene. No matter how big, how small. Whether it's New York, whether it's Austin, whether it's Wisconsin. You can move in any scene, and it's all about the work you put in. when I was in New York, I started comedy. I was 19, and I dropped out of college. I wanted to do stand up,
Mm.
and um, I said, I'm living with my parents. I don't have to really be an adult right now. So I would get jobs at like Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs. I would get jobs at, I was a gymnastics instructor for a little bit. They just taught me how to flip the kids, and I was a gymnastics instructor.
Oh, hold on.
No, we're going to move past
Hold on, no. We can't just do it because that's something I did not know about. A gymnastics instructor? Like that?
Yeah. So I was just between jobs. I applied, and they said, "What do you do outside here?" And I said, I didn't tell them I did stand up. What I was doing at open mics was going up to I would burn crayons. That was my art. I would burn crayons onto a piece of paper and see what designs came out,
Okay.
and I would try to sell them at open mics. So I told them that that's what I did. And they said, "Wow, very creative." And I told them I was a camp counselor too. I was assistant coach for my brother's basketball team. So like, okay, you have experience with kids. I worked from kids from 6 years old to 14 years old. It's a very big difference trying to
Oh
flip.
yeah.
It's a very big difference trying to flip a 6-year-old and a 14-year-old. My worst nightmare. They had a rock wall, and I had this one 14-year-old kid named Shaniqua, and what's it called? She was a big girl, and I had to harness her, and she kept falling off the wall. And when a kid falls off the wall, so they don't get hurt, you have to help them up. So I literally have like this girl like fucking just on my fucking head. I'm like holding Shaniqua up with my head, trying to push her on the rock, and that was a nightmare. But honestly, it was a lot of fun. I love working with kids, and improvisation started as children's theater. It was all kids doing improv, and I honestly, I would love to work with kids someday, again, and I help teach kids basketball.
Very patient person.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too, and also like with adults, it's like adults are trained.
Mm-hmm.
Adults have been through shit. Their brains are wired to think this is how the world runs.
Mm.
And they say after 30, you're set in your ways. So trying to teach adults in their late 20s past 30 is something in itself. When you work with a kid who has no idea what the world is, you're painting a world for them.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you paint a scene in improv, you build a world in an improv scene. You're literally building a world for a child. And it's very interesting trying to teaching adults is one thing, but trying to teach kids improv is like I think it's very fulfilling.
Oh yeah, they run with it. I mean, we had that experience with we taught
yeah.
that stand up. We taught a stand up workshop at this past Excuse Absence Fest that they have at Cold Town. They have just a full day of like kids improv workshops. So we did.
How old are they?
Varies from what like 5 to like 18.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so like the
And
full
middle
range.
schoolers, all like
Like kids, teens,
in grade
yeah.
school are doing stand up.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. Well, we
improv.
we did the workshop, and so we had a couple students come through, and they just like picked it up immediately. Like it's like
Wow.
for kids, it's just like this is how I see the world. Yep, this is exactly what we do as stand-ups. Is like this is how we see the world. So for kids, it's just like that imagination, like that passion for the art is like super like and
Yeah.
really inspiring. I would say.
My favorite part about doing that it was the Excused Absence Festival. It's a whole kids festival. In Austin, there's a kids program called Excused Absence, run by Kristen Henn, who is a very good children's improvisational teacher. Entire program. She's about to do a summer camp, a
Mhm.
kids summer camp. But my favorite part about doing that workshop was we had a mother and daughter
Mm-hmm.
sign up together, and seeing a mother and daughter bond over comedy,
Mm-hmm.
it's like exactly what I want to do. We have somebody in our we have a couple in our improv program now that said they wanted to join because they're having marital issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they say improvisation is life because the techniques and everything you learn are not only life lessons, but it's things that help you in life, like listening and responding, accepting information given, give and take. It all can help you in life. So I think that a lot of people pay for a therapist to talk to them and say, "How do you feel?" Well, I think you should do this. Improv, it's more like, "Hey, we're gonna figure it out. And we're gonna have fun too."
Mm-hmm.
Like I think improv is just as valid as therapy.
So you think couples can maybe just go to improv class instead of
They,
paying for therapy?
they would save a lot of money.
Say level, yeah. Yeah. I will say that, like, I will double down on that about the life lessons in improv for sure. Because I will be honest and say I started improv selfishly. Like, I was looking just to get better at stand up. And then it ended up being like a 2-year side mission where I was doing way more improv than stand up, just because of the mental health aspects of it. It was like really teaching me just like social skills, like just how to be self aware. The give and take is a big thing, like making sure everyone's feeling in a space, making sure everyone is being seen. And I think that those kind of things, as stand-ups, we could benefit a little bit from, because I know that we get caught up in the rat race and trying to like be the best and everything like that. But we're all on the show together, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we all got to have a good. Like, I want us all to have a good show. I don't want to be on a show with bums. I don't want to. I don't want to show with people that aren't going to have a good time.
So improv is very enriching.
Yeah.
Off stage. Do you feel like improv has given you an edge when you go back to do stand up?
It's not something you don't just do stand up and you're like, "Hey, I'm better now." It's like it's just something that's going to naturally help you. I think more with stage presence than anything else. The main thing with the old school improvisation was they used it as a technique to write sketches. They would improvise scenes on stage, and if they liked it enough, they would record it, or I guess tape record it back in the 50s, and edit it and use it as sketch material. It's hard to do that with stand up. You might say a line or something that gets a pop. Maybe you save that. That could happen. One thing I really liked in improv was when I did a character and it worked, and I was like, hey, maybe I can incorporate this into stand up. I do a character named Lil Baby Finkelstein that I improvised at an improv audition. I didn't get the audition, but now that character is in my A material when I do stand up.
What's the character's name one more time?
Don't.
Lil Baby Finkelstein, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. How you doing? Now, I'm not with all this comedy nonsense. I'm a hardcore SoundCloud rapper.
That's a very appropriate New York character.
Yeah. I think I think improv is very progressive. So I think when I did that character on stage, like, oh, he's making fun of Jewish people, and I'm like, hey, I am a Jewish rapper from New York.
This is authentic.
This is authentic.
Are you saying I can't play my grandma? Are you saying I can't play my grandma on stage? I had one scene. I was taking I won't say what theater it was, but I was taking an improv class, and we somehow got into two old people at a home trying to fix a vent or the air conditioning, and I kept getting stopped in the scene because the teacher said I was being ageist. And so I stopped and I tried again. She said, Matt, you're still being ageist. So then I go again. She stopped me again, said, Matt, you're being ageist. So I finally said, hey, you want to get out of here and play some basketball? And she stopped the scene. She's like, all right, Matt sucks.
I will say that improvisers have a much thinner skin than stand-ups. Which we could all maybe toughen up a little bit, but also the improvisers have a point. With stand-ups, we can lighten up a little bit, and I do think that's some of the beauty of going back and forth between the two, is that you learn those audiences, especially doing stand-up in front of improv audiences, like a lot of different types of laughs. When you go back,
more diverse audience.
Yeah, more diverse audience. It's different types of laughs. You get laughs in different spots. You get laughs for like well put together thoughts and things like that. Whereas you transition to going back to like bars and clubs, and now you can go back to being a dumbass. You don't have to be as intellectual. So,
but the thing is, though, like, I think improv was a place for misfits, and now that the society is being like so open to everybody and anybody who's different, a lot of people gravitate towards improv because it still is what it always was, is a place for misfits, which stand up is as well. But what's it called? The people who get made fun of in the stand up world a lot that you'll see at like open mics and stuff um, are the people who find shelter in improvisation because it is so progressive and welcoming. Literally, when we worked at Cold Town, he still works at Cold Town, but what's it called? They have a harassment policy on the wall telling you know this, know that, know this, know that, and so like ageism, racism, homophobia, and stuff, and that's why a lot of people find shelter in uh, improvisation, but also
And all the racists and homophobes find shelter in stand-up.
yeah, but
I,
but
I mean, you know, you know, I mean, certain spots people find there. I mean, like I said, you can find who you're gonna find. You know, if
Yep.
you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. I won't even open up that.
Yeah,
can of
we've seen
worms.
it. We've seen it all.
Yeah.
but here's the thing as well. What's it called? Also in old school improvisation, uh, they were very satirical.
Mhm.
They would turn society around on you, which I think being so progressive in improv theaters now is what we're losing, and is why a lot of stand-ups take improv and are disheartened because they're like, oh, they don't like to joke the way I like to joke. It's because improv is so progressive now that because of harassment policies and stuff like that, you can't do satirical material anymore. We can't do scenes about the trans movement because we're afraid we're going to offend somebody. We can't talk about racism in America because we're afraid we're going to offend somebody. We can't even do jokes about the Epstein list and Donald Trump because we're afraid we're going to offend somebody. And that's a way where we've taken it too far with progressivism. I don't know if that's even a word, but that's where we've taken it too far because we forgot about what improvisation truly is comedic acting. It was born on being satirical. And I'm not saying no places do that anymore, but I don't think a lot of places do that anymore, where we take the problems of society and try to figure it out. Because, like I said before, improv is a form of therapy. You can figure things out through improv. If improvisers can't be satirical anymore and talk about these hard subjects because of harassment policies, what the hell are we even doing?
I wouldn't even say that it's because of harassment policies.
Yeah.
I would say to that is we are in a point where I think that the low hanging fruit doesn't work anymore. I think that audiences are more intellectual. I think we are, even though it might not seem like it, I think we are in a period of time where people are smarter than they used to be. And so a lot of times they don't want to, if they don't, if like for some reason, like because we have so much attachment to each other with social media and we hear all the negative, it's hard for people to want to hear negative on a stage. And so as creatives, we have to be more creative, for lack of a better term, and create a way, like a vessel, or like it's like I call it like hiding the medicine in the cheese. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you have to hide the message now.
So
Like
the bar is higher.
the
for
bar is
satire.
higher. Oh, 100%. I think we're at a point in time in comedy where we're expected to be more talented and funnier as an entire industry than ever before. I won't say that I won't say that we have the funniest comics of all time right now, but I will say that the baseline comic has to be funnier now than definitely in the past. Because you have to think harder. You have to be intellectual. You have to find a way. If you want to say certain things, you have to find a way to say that where the audience is going to still be laughing. Because at the end of the day, that's our job. Is the jokes.
Can I ask you guys a question about finance and industry and commerce in the world of comedy?
You can't worry about that.
I'll say you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing comedy, just expect to be broke for a while.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like I'm very broke. I could barely pay my rent and my bills and stuff, but I don't feel like a loser. Like society would pin me as a loser because I can't pay my bills and all that kind of stuff. I live with 4 roommates, um, uh, but I don't feel like a loser because I do what I love
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, and I'm not a hobbyist. Like my main focus when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about comedy.
Yeah.
When I get home from work, I'm doing comedy related things, and it's expect to be broke for a while, and also know that if you want to just do stand up, you're going to be broke probably for the rest of your life. It's not until you start doing theaters and shows and TV writing and all this extra stuff besides stand up. I feel like stand up's a very broke industry. You really have to make it to the Kevin Hart top to get paid just to do stand up. But there are so many other avenues to make money. And I think with the social media rising the way it is, and all this like easy media where it's like Stephen Colbert's show got canceled, now they're talking about him going on a YouTube series. It's that easy for somebody to have a platform. Like that guy who blew up on YouTube, Gary V. He started making wine videos for his dad's company. And he said it took him like, I don't know how many, like over 10 years or something to actually achieve with that what he wanted to achieve. And now he's like a multi-millionaire media guy. I think if you want to do stand-up, you're going to be broke for a while. If you want to do improv, you're going to be broke for a while. It isn't until you start doing the extra things. Like
selling drugs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Facts.
it's like when John Candy was doing improv, I think he was very broke. When he started doing SCTV, he started making some money. When he started doing movies, now he's really making money. And it's all about knowing where you want to go in the industry. Wherever your goal is, I don't want to talk like that, but what's it called? It's like wherever your goal is, until you reach that goal, if it is a money-making goal. Not saying that like we're fueled on. I don't personally give a fuck about money. I want to be in movies and stuff, but I know that I'm going to be broke until I get a job either in TV or movies, and that's just the way it is being a stand-up. The most I've ever gotten paid for a gig was $40, and that's like 2.5 hours for me at the sandwich shop. And well, technically though, if people want to say it was only 20 minutes of work, and which
it's way more. It's
Yeah, it's true,
way
it's true.
more work than that.
It's a lot of
That's true.
investment.
It's a lot of
yeah,
investment.
yeah,